Good evening, grotty painting fans, and welcome to an emergency painting stream. I have got basically 2 days left to finish off the Grots, so this is going to be me desperately trying to finish all of the Snotling Blood Bowl team in a night, if the camera wants to focus. There it is. So this is going to be me trying to blast through, trying to get some detailing done, trying to finish off the last few base coats so that I can wash them down and finish them in time for the game with Mark on Friday. So all good things and all exciting. Seems that the camera doesn't want to play with us so much today, but we'll see what happens. Let's see if we can get some more light as well. That might help. So yeah, it's going to be good. Hello, follow Grots, Gits, and even you Snotlings. Evening, Oscar. Evening, Postel Nick. Important things first. I need to sort my beer out. So today we are going with if I can get this to come up on the screen, a Lost Cosmonauts, which just looked pretty wicked. A bit strong though, so I might end up half cut before we finish the stream. I'm sure it will be fine. I've got to finish these now because I guilt-tripped Mark. You'll see it on Thursday night, but I was guilt-tripping Mark about getting finished in time for Friday. And I was like, well, I've managed to get a whole team done, but naturally I was lying and I haven't got a whole team done. I've got some of a team done. Right. So yeah, let's crack on with this. So I've realised I've missed a big bit of one of their bellies. And that's the first thing I need to fix. I was hoping to do those little sort of like slightly pinky bellies that you see on the box art, but I'm not sure I'm going to get time, and that's going to really bug me if I can't. I'm zooming out a little bit. Get a bit more view of what I'm doing. So, what is everybody else painting tonight? Anything interesting? Postel is doing his Sanguinary Guard. You got many to do, Postel? Oh dear, that's not looking good. Water. What's a drink? Dropped a drink. There it is. What else you get? Painting black and Flesh Terror red Inceptors. Nice. 4, the rest is ready. Okay, so you've not got too many more to do. I feel like it wouldn't be okay for me to have guilt-tripped Mark into getting his done finished when I haven't finished my own, so I've got to get these done today. Well, certainly a big chunk of them done. If I'm going to give other people shit, then yeah. All I'm doing at the moment is just putting some white in some areas that are going to be a different colour. Just tidying it up a bit. And I've already been through and painted black everything basically that wasn't going to be. Well, that needed to be a different colour than black or white, or actually no, so everything that needs to be black and white is now black, and I'm painting white all the things that I need to be not black or white or metallic, which I know doesn't make much sense, but that is what I'm doing. And that's because I'm relying heavily on contrast to add some colour to this model. And of course contrast does not go over anything that's not a very pale colour. I need to tidy up all these overspills so that I can get the contrast paint on it. This is a pretty good white paint, this, and it'll go over most things with a maximum of sort of 2 coats. Sculpting me some spikes out of sprues for my Black Dragon army, totally loyalist. Oh, Oscar, so you're Brick on the thingy, that makes more sense. Now I know who you are. Did you know that Vallejo made their own contrast paints? They're called Express and are really good. I've seen that they've made their own contrast equivalent, but I will, you know what I'm like, I'll hold judgment until I've had a chance to play with them. The few people that I've seen use them said they're good, but then lots of people who've used them also said that army paint and speed paints were good. And they have serious reactivation issues. So I don't want to get too excited until I've tested them and seen they haven't got that problem, because that was an absolute deal breaker for me with the army painter ones. That paint is way too thin. I'm a little bit of a Philistine when it comes to Warhammer painting, and I tend to kind of channel my inner Sergio Calvo. And I don't tend to thin my paints very much. And I almost never use glazes. So that's why I love the sort of the Chimera paint. If it can't stand up on its own, it's not thick enough. Lots of people at the local hobby shop like the speed paint. The speed paint's got a place and it does work well, but that reactivation issue means that a lot of the other techniques that you might use, such kind of prohibits it unless you're going to varnish. And it's actually a little bit of a bugger, I've noticed, to varnish as well. And that's my big problem with it. If they said outright, look, when you use our paints, these are fine if this is going to be your final finish, but if you want to paint over it, you're going to have to work in some varnish layers. I wouldn't have such a problem with it, but they didn't say that. And that really annoys me. I'm not going to say it was dishonest, because I think that's maybe a little bit too strong, but it certainly didn't engender good feelings towards their product when they hid such an important facet from it. bit of precision is required here, and I'm not great at that. And that also annoyed me with a lot of the YouTubers that covered them and didn't mention it either. Because they had to have found that out in their testing. Unless they only did the most superficial of testing, that would have been apparent. Hey Carter, hey Foz, I'm finishing my Blood Bowl ready in time. Syntax, hello mate. Still working on the Grots. Yeah, absolutely. I've got like 2 days left to get these guys finished. So I'm desperately trying to work my way through them so that I can have a fully painted team for Friday's game. These will be painted in time, even if I've got to work through the night to get them done in time. I mean, all false jeopardy aside, it doesn't matter, but it matters to me. And I have got time to do it. I just can't get distracted onto other projects. Because hopefully we're meeting a few of you guys up there on Friday. A couple of people have said that they're going to be there. And I think it would just be nice to have a properly painted team. This brush is about had it. Well, they are looking good. Better than my Elven Union team will for tomorrow. I blame my kids for not having enough time to paint. I think kids are a good excuse, buddy. But if Mark's still watching, not one that he can use, so pull your finger out. Coming along. I think I'm going to have to zoom in when I start doing these little tiny bits, so you're not going to be able to see anything. Some stream match Friday. Unfortunately, Pastel, we're not allowed to stream it. We have checked. And they've told us that you're not allowed to film at Warhammer World. Which is pretty disappointing. Right, that looks okay, that looks okay. What next doing next? I've got the grey rocks to do, I've got metallics to do. I've got some more white to do now the black has settled on there. Like I say, this brush is just about at the end of its working life, I think. I recognise that these tiny grots are probably not the best thing to paint on stream either. Because the camera just doesn't know what to do with something the size of my thumbnail. These damn streams are making me want to start Blood Bowl. I'm going to pick up the Viking team next, I think, when I have the money. I think they're wicked cool. I'm really excited to play it. I've got my rulebook, I've got my cards, I've got my Snotling dice. I've got my team, I will have my team ready. It's going to be good. I'm excited to play. And I'm about to chuck this brush out the window. Just does not want to hold a point. It's about to become relegated, I think, to a metallics brush. Do it, one of us. I'm going to try really hard not to buy either dwarves next or corn. I really want that dwarf steamroller thing. I don't care about the rest of them, but that steamroller just looks wicked. Come on, hold a point for more than 10 seconds. You won't be able to see this on stream, but literally as soon as this thing goes near the paint, it just loses its point. Nope, fuck it, that's dead. Go away, new brush time. Beer time first. It's going to get demoted to metallic paintbrush next. It's not quite at glue brush level, but it's not far off. I want a size 1, really? What size is that? That's a size 5. That's my size 2. Where's my size 1 gone? I've lost my size 1 brush, guys. No. I accidentally shove it in there. With the shitty brushes. Nope. Maybe. Oh, it's like, nope. How have I lost a brush? That's just annoying. Right. Classic. 10-year-old heavy metal painting brush. I have to use this. Where has that gone? I've got a brand new bloody size 1 brush here somewhere. Syntax ate it. That's where it went. Bastard. Then he slurped down the paint. No, I slurped down the paint. That's my job. The amount that the fact that I have a habit of putting the brush in my mouth upsets some people makes me want to do it more. Camera's really struggling today. Come on, camera. Let's see if I can force it a little bit. Syntax, I also put the brush in my mouth. One time I accidentally with a brush that's full of paint. Syntax, I've done that twice on this stream already, let alone in general. It's not something that I'm proud of, but it is something that I seem to regularly do. And like I say, it really upsets some people. I don't really understand why. I don't know why it matters all that much. I need a smaller brush again. No. I vote you get corn. Have you ever played Kill Team? I played old Kill Team, but I haven't played new Kill Team. Chaos Dwarfs would be wicked, Foz. Still got some Chaos Dwarf models somewhere. Syntax, I thought it was something everybody did. That guy who taught me painting did it, so I've always done it too. Yeah, it's a bit of a... I mean, artists don't do it, but miniature painters have been doing it for years. Because it gets you a nice tip. And someone said, what does it do for the paint? And actually, it's... When I was doing things like wet blending and that as well, I don't wash the brush between picking up colours. And the fact that I put it in my mouth is what basically I eat the paint. It's naughty, but it means I can change colours quicker. Why did I decide to go with a quartered scheme for that guy's hat? And the other guy's hat's even worse. I've gone with a scheme in sixths. I'm going to get to him in a second. Talking of the devil, I better get on and start trying to do him. I wonder if I can get a bit more light on and that will help. May I ask what brand of paint do you find to be the tastiest? Probably, if I'm honest, Vallejo. The worst tasting paint, by an absolute landslide, is, if you're ignoring things like oil paints or enamel-based paints or Tamiya, whatever they're based in paints, the worst tasting paints are scale 75. There's something in the gel medium that they use that makes them truly abhorrent to human consumption. But the worst thing is that I've started to not mind it. That's how much I've eaten. I've started to not mind the worst tasting paint you can get. Which is quite scary. Who decided to do this sodding in goddamn sixths? I've more than once put oil paints in my mouth as well, and that's really unpleasant. Oil paints are truly not nice when you get one of those in your mouth. Oscar, yeah, competitive paint eating. It's an important sport. What is going on with this camera today? Really struggling. Khorne is indeed violent AF. Chaos Dwarfs, nah, don't really appeal. Although Undead can be pretty murderous. They're kind of tempting too. Yeah, I like the old vampire teams and the Banshees and that. I think they're quite cool. I'll be building Undead at some point for a friend, getting to know how they play tomorrow. Nice. I can imagine the oil paints will be all fatty and impossible to get out of your mouth. It's one of those flavours that just won't go. Really bugging me that I'm missing a paintbrush. Because that's a brand new brush. GW paints aren't too bad tasting. I think they use a similar recipe to Vallejo. And for that matter, Army Painter are fairly inoffensive as well. The MIG paints are a step worse, and the Chimera ones are probably the second worst after Scale 75. Okay, let's tidy that bit up. Anyone else seeing the parallels of eating paints and those that ate glue as kids? Doesn't every kid eat some white PV? Do you mean PVA glue at some point, Foz? Yes, is the answer. Well, I took the plunge. All Terminator Death Guard army coming tomorrow. Nice. That's going to be wicked. What about contrast paints, washes, metallics? Largely the same. I think it's the medium that tastes rather than the pigment. Contrast has a subtly different flavour than standard GW, but it's still fairly inoffensive. But I've not really noticed a major difference between the metallics and the non-metallics from a brand. I need to do this weird turn counter thing that Mark told me I needed. Brush is too big for that. I'm back to it. What do I need to do now? Eyes. So I need some... I think I'm going to use the older Iandon yellow paint for this. Personally, I'll only put a brush that has had wash in it if it hasn't been washed thoroughly. That's a tongue twister. But yeah, your Nuln Oil tastes more or less the same as all the other paints. Do you know what? Actually, I don't want to use that. I want to use a brighter yellow. And I need a much finer brush if I'm going to be painting eyes. It's time for the size 0. I use Army Painter washes and find them to taste horrible. I haven't tested the Army Painter range of flavours. Not thoroughly. I've got a couple of Army Painter paints and they're... If I'm honest, they're not normally my favourites. Although I know a lot of people really like their strong tone and things like that. No, need the stronger yellow. That one's too anemic. In fact, I think I'm going to go very strong yellow and use an actual paint rather than contrast. So this is the Chimera warm yellow, which is probably one of my favourite actual yellows at the moment. Army Painter is usually very hit or miss, but the washes are definitely a hit for me. They're a hit for a lot of people, the washes. They're very widely liked. Unless you're talking flavour, which is the important consideration with paint. I'm not going to lie, painting the eyes on Snotlings is quite fine work. I don't think all of these guys are getting their eyes painted because some of them are just not that obvious to see. Oh. Evening, Miguel. These have got to be some of the dullest models that you've ever seen anybody try and paint online. Because they're so small. And now that I stop to think about it, I realise how weird the things I'm saying are. No weirder than the rest of us. James Richard, evening Primark. This your Snotling Blood Bowl team? It is indeed. And the final rush to try and get them done by Friday so Mark can beat me. But at least we'll be beaten in style. And isn't that the most important thing? Army Painter smells less bad. That's a big win in my book. Plus, it tastes significantly less like beer on it. Yeah, that's true. But that, to me, the fact it tastes less like beer is a downside. You know, who doesn't wish that pubs delivered? Probably everyone with a healthy liver. I love the smell of paint. It's like my happy place. Do something with this bloody camera. What team is Mark bringing? Do we not know yet? Oh, he's bringing Wood Elves as far as I know. Oh, there you go. And humans and orcs as a baseline to teach the basics of the game with. Skeleton Horde smells really bad in my book, along with Vallejo you mentioned. Skeleton Horde. Is that a contrast paint? Oh no, that's the... That's it? Hang on. Where's my contrast paints? Sure, the Skeleton Horde is a contrast paint. There it is. Yeah. Let's have a sniff. No, I like it. And there's something you didn't think you'd see anybody doing today. Sniffing on a contrast paint. Use a slightly bigger brush for this one. Stop doing that. Back to Tiny. Mark F and Sanguinius, let me know if you find the cards useful. I've heard they're handy for new players, but not so much for experienced players. I'm quite excited to try them out, Foz, because I did see that there was like blank ones to make your roster, but I didn't want to do it. So I've got my team name and I've got my team. I will have my team. But I didn't want to fill out the cards until I did it with Mark and knew what I was doing. I didn't want to fuck up the cards. Oh, this is a lot of eyes. What's your team name? I've called my Snotling team the Besaid Aurochs. Because they're shit and they're probably just going to get carried by a star player. And if you got that reference, you're old. I adore that game. Yeah, they are there to do their best. I love that game as well. That was back when that series was good. Right, pump wagon snots now. What's up, Inks? How's it hanging? I'm painting some Blood Bowl. I almost wish I'd done sub-assemblies on these guys, I'm not gonna lie. They are just so small. How many dice do you need for Blood Bowl? I just checked my friendly local game store website and they still have some Norse team dice in stock. Would one set be enough? No idea, but Mark says yes. Right. Whew. Do you know what? I'm feeling the tension drain out of me after that. That was ridiculously difficult. Right, okay, so that's all the yellow eyes done. I need to obviously do their pupils. I need to put some more white on these guys now because I can see that's a bit too grey. So they're all yellowed. Got metallics to do. I need to do a dry brush on the mushrooms. I need some, right, there's a couple of contrasty bits to do. Let's get those done. Syntax, that's nice to hear. I've never picked up faction specific dice for 40k since they're so expensive. I'd need 3 or 4 packs of them. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, Syntax. I really like the Forge World Blood Angels dice, but they're 20 quid for like 10 dice, and that's not going to do anything. Now you need loads, and well, that's a lot of money. Fell back on an old habit there and started painting that off screen. Come on, little camera. There we go. I think I'm going to treat myself and buy a bloody new tripod for this camera because it's at a funny angle and I wonder if that's what's upsetting it. Because I can't get the camera directly over where I'm working. I know people give them stick, but I actually love contrast paints. I think they're so useful. I don't think I'd ever use them like as the sole solution, but if you just want to slap some real saturated colour on an area, they're fantastic for it. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Any other bits of random? Yes, there's a bit of red that needs to go on that one. Red, red, red. How's it going, everyone? Wicked, yeah. Having a lovely evening. Mark F, I'm at least glad to say that thanks to Tony's guilt tripping and binging all of Lower Decks while painting in the last few days, it's now all but certain my team will be finished for Friday. Wicked, Mark. Can't wait to see them. Syntax, I really like the sort of cartoonish look of the paint job you're doing on those grots. Oh, cheers, Syntax. That's what I was going for. Just bright and colourful and a bit silly. I really like to use contrast paints for effects like glow or tints. Yeah, they make great glazes as well if you thin them down. And through the airbrush, they're phenomenal. Some of them are very much like an ink. Not all of them, but like this red I'm using is very ink-like. Super high saturation, with a good level of transparency. Okay, so that's the next colour done. What else needs doing? I need to do the grey on the rocks, and I need to start doing some teeth. So I think I'll do some teeth next. So I'll get the Vallejo paint out now. This Vallejo Ivory is a really useful paint. It's got great coverage, and because it's not a white, it works well for making other... as a base for other things. It doesn't desaturate things quite so badly. So in this case, I'm going to use it for the teeth. Another laborious task of thousands of tiny little dots. I say I like to use them for glows while I'm over here with 7-step process for doing my glowing red eyes. That's excessive. But if it looks good, then it's worth it. So what's about Warhammer World? Can everyone play there? They provide tables and stuff. It's just an event. Yeah, everyone can play there. Largely, it's just a big store. But it has a huge gaming hall, which unless they've got an event on, you can book tables at and paint. And play games. They've got a bar there, which is where we intend to go. And then they've got the exhibition hall, which is various dioramas and old models and things like that. But it's open. The only time that changes a little bit is if they've got an event on. But generally anybody can go there. And then they've got like the Forge World store there. And then lastly, they do a few like unique bits of pieces that you can only buy there. That's annoying me. Oh no! Dropped a grot! Right, that's how we got away with it. It's a fun day out. Whose idea was it to paint bloody individual teeth on these things? It's supposed to be speed painting. On. Friend. That cartoonishness is what I love about Blood Bowl. A good break from the serious grimdark 40k. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes, especially modern 40k, takes itself too seriously. As does Age of Sigmar when you compare it to fantasy. But Blood Bowl is much more like the tone of old fantasy. And that fun is what got me into the game. Got me into the hobby, really, I suppose. Mark, you can buy literally any model they make too. If they're out of it in store, they'll have it brought up from the factory warehouse if they can. Yeah, they do, which is really quite nice, especially when you've got some more obscure stuff. Sounds awesome. Maybe one day I'll go there. It's a long way from where you live. Where do you live, Pastel? Come up on Friday, John, Mike and I. David Bain, hey man, how's it going? They're coming along nice, I see. Yeah, they are, slowly, anyway. I'd love to go there if I didn't live in a different country, lol. Fair enough. Anyone think about going to Warhammer Fest next year? Yeah, definitely if I can get tickets. Is kind of where I am with some of the Warhammer Fest sort of events at the moment. Because we made it to the 25th anniversary of... Sorry, the... well, some sort... Oh, no, it was Warhammer Fest, wasn't it? We made it to one of them this year. But we magnificently failed when it come to getting tickets for Golden Demon. Pastel Poland. It's a fair old trek, yeah. It's doable. Easter time, we had a couple of people. I had a couple of people come over from the Netherlands to go. That was quite a laugh of a trip. We talking my local sort of make a group travel to Warhammer World. Maybe one day. It'd be good fun. Tactical Melon, evening Melon. David Brown, I went to Warhammer World the other week. There's some really nice displays. Yeah, it does. I'll take my camera with me this time and get some good pictures. I bought a polarizing filter, so hopefully I'll be able to get pictures through the glass. Right, he hasn't got any teeth. Because he's blowing a trumpet. Wish I could join you two on Friday. Too bad there's a big pond in the way. Yeah, it's a bit far to come, Foz. So it's worth going to Warhammer World just to look at the room-sized diorama. Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely incredible. Although I've never found the assassin. And for people who haven't been there, they have a competition where they have this huge diorama. And if you can find the assassin and you're the first person of the day, they move it every day, you win an assassin. Actually, talking of, if they're out, I might buy those new Forge World Assassins. That might be a fun thing to pick up. I'd love to go to Warhammer World. I was planning to go this summer, but I needed to renew my passport, and the waiting time for renewing passports was so long the summer would already be over. Bugman's is nice too. Syntax, we'll try and plan it a little bit better. So next year we'll have a bit more time between it. And I know John's planning on coming down from Scotland to come to Warhammer World as well. So we'll try and arrange it well in advance. And then hopefully a few more people can join us there. It'd be amazing if some of our international people could come. It's just really cool when you get to meet people you chat to online. Mark, I actually think Corn would be probably a good team for John. John's talking about joining in, isn't he? So maybe you're right, maybe it would. I quite like this guy with his finger up his nose. I feel like if I ever did a second Blood Bowl team, it'd almost have to be halflings at this point. Syntax, it's getting quite late over here, so I think I'm going to go now. Have a good night, everybody. Good night, Syntax. Enjoy your rest and relaxation. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, that last tooth was an absolute bugger to get to. I'm not going to win any prizes for these guys, but hopefully they'll be done. I can see John running dwarves too with a solid cage strategy. I'm sure that's funny, Foz, but because I don't know anything about Blood Bowl, I'm just sort of like, what's a cage strategy? Whew. My arms are trembling. If you want to buy a star player while at Warhammer World, Fungus was the most used star player at the Full Beard tournament at Warhammer World this past weekend. Is Fungus the Night Goblin? Because I had my eye on one of those trolls, which I thought would be quite good. I would go with the squirrel, but Mark beat me to it. And to be honest, I don't feel like a squirrel would really fit in with these guys. They're a bit too evil. Fucked up the last one. Bollocks. Some sort of grot, not sure the right name. Too evil, the Snotlings or the squirrel. He's not called Acorn for nothing. Yeah, I know he's like a cornate squirrel, but he hangs around with the halflings and the tree men. In fact, he even comes in the tree man box, doesn't he? Anyway, it's dinner time for me. Have a good night, everyone, and have fun on Friday. Cheers, Foz. Thanks for hanging out, mate. And thanks again for the rulebook and the cards and dice. Without you, Friday wouldn't be happening. Well, we certainly wouldn't be playing Blood Bowl anyway. Right. Okay, so teeth is done. While I got that on the mat, I think the next thing to do is probably do a little bit of dry brushing to bring out the detail on the mushroom player marking thing. So it's time to get out the dry brush. Oh, shit. I need my dry brushing palette. I do. I think that looks a bit better. What else needed that doing to it? Ah, yeah, it was these rocks. I don't really want to do it with that. I think I want a more grey colour to do that with. So let's make something up. These kind of fungusy rock things. Bit of that as well. Whoop. Has anyone else heard the rumour that new assault marines are coming to the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness line? I haven't heard any rumours to an effect, but it wouldn't surprise me. Because there aren't any Mark 6 assault marines in the range at the moment, I don't think. And they do seem to be pushing the Mark 6, so if they were going to make some plastic assault marines, that would be the ones to go with. Got up. Any more dry brushing he's doing? Not at the moment, no. So let's give that a clean. Not heard it. Wouldn't surprise me though. Would be nice. Yeah, it's the same sort of thing. I want to use them Death Company if they're a thing. Yeah, that'd be wicked. James Richard, there are core aspects on the list. So for many legions currently, there's no way to do them without buying resin marines from Forge Rod or adding 40k jump packs. So yeah, it will happen. Yeah, that seems pretty sensible. Sensibly thought out. Right. Okay, get rid of the dry brushing palette. Right, what's next? I need to do the grey for the rocks, some ropes, and then metallics. Also, I've missed a couple of eyes, so let's get those eyes done that I missed. I forgot the eyes on these weird fungus blob things. Coming out. Okay. Right. Let's get these other rocks painted. Okay, so I want some sort of grey colour, but I don't want to use the same one as that, so I want to use a more neutral grey, I think. I'm going to use Eclipse Grey from Scale 75. Whatever time, half an hour left. It might sound strange that I'm so anal about time, but I've got to be strict or I'll paint all night. And then I'll regret it. It's got a slight warm reddish tone inside this, but relatively neutral for a grey. Big rock. Let's do the little rock in the guy's hand. Do the other pump wagon. Whew. Chrono Cyan. My last D&D session, I got the pleasure to throw ridiculous amounts of fireballs at my party. Nice. It was funny and they lived, so win-win. They lived? Were you DM then, or were you just, like, a bastard? Because I've been in parties where people are throwing ridiculous amounts of fireballs at me, but that's because they were bastards. But I usually DM a lot more than I play. Quite like it. A bit more paint inside this. It's a bit too thin. There we go. I was DM and they're level 12, so they can tank a bunch. Yeah, fair enough then. I feel that fireballs can be a valuable kind of teaching aid in D&D. Like, don't go start wandering off, because if you do, I'm going to fireball you. I want to use some more of this to do more of those. Oh, I hate scale colour paint. Ugh, that doesn't taste good. I mean, someone can say, well, you should have probably cleaned your brush better, but it doesn't give it any right to be that disgusting. Right, that's me. Brushes down for the evening. Leave stuff to dry. Washes tomorrow lunchtime. Out in the evening. Dry brushing. Final touches Thursday. Just in time then. Hey now, the only thing I ever did in a roleplay was turn half a ship's worth of servitors rogue. Yeah. I don't think... Isn't that the campaign where you got killed by a war boss? I'm perfectly fine DMing. I can just make my character ideas into NPCs. It's always fun. I think there's 8 fireballs in total. That's a lot of fireballs. They started a fight in the middle of a crossroads and attracted like 3 separate encounters at once. Ah, cheers, Carter. I will be done in time. It might be a bit close going though. On that one. Okay, so that's all the mushrooms doing that level. Back to the rocks, I think. So I need a slightly brighter colour. And we're going to go back to dry brushing, actually, I think. Probably the best bet. They're not quite dry, though. Let's do the straps on those instead. Someone said about it earlier. Let's get the skeleton horde out. Plus so it's for AOS game. No, this is for Blood Bowl, mate. Now I got smushed by a big mech. That's when the servitor problems began. Good old Road Trader. I love Road Trader. That was such a cool system. What do you think about Army Painter admitting their shortcomings and building a team of content creators to help create the new speed paint refresh? Any thoughts? I think they need to do something. I think whether it was intentional or not, they created a few misgivings with their last range and all the content creators that were painting stuff and saying how good they were, but were conveniently not noticing the major flaw. There is a major flaw. And either all of those content creators were negligible or they knew about it and were told not to talk about it. And either of those things isn't good for the product and for the reputation. And I think they've got to try and address at least some of that to be able to really move forward with it. Let's make a new colour for this. I don't want to go too bright, so I'm just going to get a little bit of white and a little bit of this grey that I used earlier. Probably enough of a step. Hey Joe, how's it going? Not bad, thanks. About to work on my Space Skimleys some more. Oh, nice. I've got the box, the launch box, up there on my shelves. And I was meaning to do, if I can, I want to do a couple of painting tutorials, but I think the problem is I've got so little time. I think by the time I actually get and do them, people have moved on. I still might do it because I want to do a painting white armour video at some point. I think they're a good choice to do that with. Yeah, that'll do. Happy with that. Let's go a little bit brighter with the white paint though. With the grey highlight colour. Enough off of there. Tony, that process for doing wood looks really good. What was the process for doing that? Pretty straightforward, to be honest. It is Agaros Dunes contrast paint, and then a very light dry brush with a kind of pale wood colour. I think I used birch from scale 75. So nice and quick and easy. Let's put that away. What am I doing for time? Got an hour left. Cheers, Carter. I'm using try out Green Stuff World fluorescent and colour change paints. I haven't tried the Green Stuff World fluorescent paints and the colour change paints. I've tried the Vallejo colour shifted paints. They were quite good, and I've got some of the Turbo Dork ones, and they were pretty good as well. But they don't really fit my style of doing things. James, is the Pump Wagon and Star Player part of the core team? It's part of the core team, but Mark said it's some kind of like weapon of war or something, or war crime, or I don't know, but it looks like some sort of automated fouling machine. So it just flattens someone and then gets sent off, is what he was telling me. Joe, mine neither. That's why I'm slapping them on LOV and not caring much. That's why I give them a go. I use a Vallejo fluorescence for my Necrons. Yeah, I haven't picked those up yet. I've got the scale colour ones, and I've got some scale artist line fluorescence coming for later in the year, because I kickstarted those, and I wonder how good they're going to be. I'm hoping that they're good. Right, what do I need to do now? I've got the ropes to do on that. I've got metallics. Oh, I missed some white on that guy's foot. And then I've got to paint paint the pupils into all those eyes. I'll do that in a moment as well. Let's do this white foot first. Need a bigger brush. No, I don't like that. I don't like the way that's looking. Let's try a different approach. Try with the grey. Toodles peeps, have a good one. Cheers, Mark. See you on Friday, mate. So I'm going to use Ammo by MiG, Gunship Grey. And see if I prefer the look of that. Now these ammo paints are interesting, but they're super thin. And the coverage is a bit crap, but I'm hoping that that plays into my favour here. I think I tried to do too big a colour jump and it didn't quite work. Oh, that's more like it. Leave that and see how that comes out as it dries. Tony, the room you're in, is that a dedicated hobby space? Yeah, it's well, more or less. It's sort of my office, but it's mostly for hobbying and filming. And occasionally I have to clear the desk and do some work. But I try, keyword being try, and do my as much of my work at work as I can these days. Because I was bringing it home every night and it just meant that I didn't have much separation. Where is box for that? Lost my box. What do they do? Okay, they do it like that. Right. Do you want a suggestion? You have a little boom and echo. I suggest putting up a few sound panels. Yeah, it's on my to-do list. I've done the analysis and unfortunately I've got a reverb at about 200 hertz. I need to deal with. It doesn't help that every surface in this house is a hard surface. There are no carpets or anything anywhere. I've got a little vocal booth, but obviously I can't use a vocal booth when I'm filming. Happy with that. Yeah, I could put some rock wool up, but I'd rather be a bit more targeted with it, Carter. Because the problem with rock wool is it kills any kind of... it kills the high frequencies in a room. And I don't have enough good high frequencies in here as it is. So if I start just slapping loads of that up, then it will make a really unbalanced environment for listening to. And when I set it up, I need to set it up properly because I need to be able to mix in here as well. It might sound like I'm being a little bit anal, but before I was a school teacher, I was a sound engineer. And I still dabble in it sometimes. So now I'm like super picky. And when I do it, I need to do it absolutely properly. I've got a bass trap that's going to go up in the corner. Yeah, I need to sit down and do it, but I just haven't had time since I moved in here. And again, I don't need it because I've got a proper studio space to do stuff in that isn't this. And unfortunately, this just keeps getting shoved down the list. Right, let's get these eyeballs painted in. So where'd you study, Carter? Here in Canada, Metalworks. I don't think I know that place. So, a little while ago now, but I specialise in classical music. And I don't get to do it as much as I'd like to. And I did my degree in acoustic and electrical engineering. I was always a shit producer, but I was a reasonable engineer. shit. Oh, no, it looks like it's got a black eye. Recording production. You still get to do it, or did you end up doing something else like I did? The only stuff I do with it now is I work for the local radio station. But then for them, I use a studio there, so it's not such a big deal. End up selling off a lot of my gear. I've still got a set of monitors behind me. And that's why I want to set the room up properly. He's got his eyes shut. Even as that one. Right, this is the guy with the weird curly eye. Whew, stressful. Nice. As I don't do as much as I used to. I've just got a few sort of relics at home. So like the microphone that I use to record, which is one of the reasons I've slightly weird sound because it's too far away, is I'm using a Neumann. I'm using a Neumann studio mic just to record podcasts on. Which is better than the one that I recorded the first few episodes on, because that was my ribbon microphone. And it just really didn't sound good for what we're doing here. Yeah, it does. It's wildly overkill. If the channel starts doing some work, well, I'll ditch it for an Lavalier microphone, which should, to be honest, make the room problem not such a big deal. But I need to fix the room anyway. But I think a Lavalier will be quite nice for when I go out and about as well. I really want to go out and do some filming in places. I've got my eye on one of those little roads. Because I don't need one that's particularly good, but having the having a small one I think will make a big difference. And they're quite reasonably priced. And I used a few roads a couple of years ago when I was studying, and they weren't bad. I don't know what the new ones are like. Yeah, I used to use the NT1 as a kind of general large diaphragm cardioid. And then for overheads, I used to like the Audio-Technica ones with the multi-pattern. Can't remember what they're called now. And then for cheapies, I had the SE4040s, which were some multi-pattern ones that were actually brilliant. I had a nice match pair of those. Unfortunately, sadly, I've sold those now. But they made incredible kind of all-round stereo mics. I never used the NT5s. They were the little small diaphragm stick ones, weren't they? I don't know what the code is for the Lavalier. It's not something that... Although I do stuff for the radio station, they just kind of have whatever they've got. I know it sounds like a bit weird, but it's only a little radio station. And they have a really weird hodgepodge of gear. Yeah, the 4040s overheads are great. Yeah, they're just very versatile. That's why I quite like them. The NT5s are the small condensers. Yeah, they're the ones I was thinking of. I remember what brand I used for that. 4040 is great on female vocals as well. Can be, yeah. I like using a ribbon for vocals. It doesn't work for everybody, but when it does, it's a great sound. Or my Neumanns. The 103 is pretty good for it. If you just want a standard large diaphragm. That's yeah, the 103. The 102 is okay as well. Right, okay, so eyeballs are done. Ropes. I might just go back to the old skeleton horde for this, to be honest. I think we've just alienated the entire audience, Carter. Oh well, we'll cope. Sorry, audience. We got a bit too specialist there, I think. I get a bit too excited about gear. And although I sold a lot of mine off, I secretly wish I hadn't. So about that Warhammer, we're nearly there. We're getting there. I think all the major kind of colours are on here now. I need to do the metallics, and then I need to do a bit of detailing. I want to go back to these guys whose feet I didn't like earlier. Let's fix these ones, and then it's probably time for me to start calling it a day. That's kind of how it goes when you sell something off. Yeah, it's the way, isn't it? I mean, I've sold off loads of Warhammer over the years and kind of wished I hadn't. But at the time, I didn't need the gear and I did need the money. Which is sad, but it's true as you know, got bills to pay and whatnot. Alright, I want a brighter grey, I think. I sold a lot of my old metal stuff and that's really made me sad. Plus all Nick, I'm off for today. Good night on Friday. Cheers, Nick. You know I should really buy the Necron Codex at some point. It's a nice book. I've got it up here. I enjoyed reading it. I'm one of these weird people that likes reading codexes. So I've got most of them now. There's a couple of weird exceptions that I should probably, and like I don't have the Mechanicus book. I haven't got the Death Guard book. Because I really don't like Death Guard. And Mechanicus, just because I haven't really had an excuse to buy it. What else haven't I got? I don't have the GSC book. And that's because, although I do own some GSC, I don't like them. Any of us playing Cataphracti Terminators? I'm painting my squad of 10 right now and I'm feeling I'm missing some. Depends on what style you're going for. For mine, let me get a work in progress here. This is just a normal Space Marine or whatever. I try to volumetric highlight rather than edge highlighting. So that means that the top surfaces are much brighter than the bottom surfaces. So if you look from the underside, it's a lot darker. If that's coming across on the camera. And then I can worry more about detailing in that later. So I'll tend to use the airbrush to get the kind of base tone and the overall shading in that done. And then I'll panel line them and tidy them up a bit later on. I don't like using the red counter spray because I found that gives it too flat a finish. It can look great if you're going to edge highlight everything, but I'm not because it takes too long. Probably a better example is like these. So this is my Sagittarium that I'm working on at the moment. And again, you look from the top, you've got this nice kind of slightly saturated gold effect. And then as you flip them upside down, it's a much duller colour. And that gives them a little bit more life and volume, and it takes a lot less time. Right, I'm in the process of building a Necron army. I don't have the book. It's a fairly important part. Well, certainly a handy part. Death Guard is just stinky. That's why I don't like them. I just don't like the all the tentacles and the mingingness. I've started adopting a combo of volumetric and edge highlighting. Yeah, so a little bit of edge highlighting around like key areas like the face and things really draws in the attention. And nobody cares if you've edge highlighted his feet. It's just distracting. Right, okay, so main colours are done for those. Eyes are done, dots are done, whites are done. Still not happy with these feet on this guy. Try being a little bit more targeted. That's getting better. That's better. I'll give it some Apothecary White in a minute, see if that ties it together a bit better. Now, thanks for the tip. It's tough because I'm used to working with blues and I've tried to paint Blood Angels and not use Refistant or Bile Red. The last time it was Ultramarines from 4th edition. Another alternative for quick is you could use clear paints over a grayscale underside. So if you kind of zenithal something up like this, so this has just been zenithalled up with a white from the top and over black. Give it a little bit of a dry brush to do a little bit of light edge highlighting. And then spray it down. It depends if you want a really bright one. If you want a really bright, then this Bile Red is fantastic for that. If you want a darker colour, or a little bit more, slightly moodier, these guys I did using Crimson ink, which could look quite nice and gives them a slightly darker, moodier finish. Or you just use Blood Angels Red, but that will give you your gradient in there straight away off the bat. If you're doing it with a hairy brush though, you need to make sure you thin down the contrast because you don't want it doing that contrast effect. You want it nice and flat. So just put some standard acrylic thinner in there and that'll break the contrast effect a bit. You might have to do a couple of coats, but it'll give you a much smoother finish than if you just slap contrast over a grayscale. The other alternative that looks really amazing but is a bugger to work with is this. This is Tamiya Clear Red, and this looks incredible. This over metallics to get that candy effect is a far superior solution to contrast over it. It's just a bit of a pain in the ass to work with. Right, on that note, I've just noticed it's 20 past 11 and I'm going to get told off, so I'm afraid we're going to have to start wrapping it up there. Let me bring up the... Oh, try not to break the video. Let me bring up the standard. There it is. Video. Make it so you can see me again. So thanks very much for watching. Thanks for your questions and the chat in the chat. And hopefully we'll see you on the next one. It probably won't be next week because next week I'm going to see The Thing, so we can record a review of it next Thursday. It'll probably be the week after. But if I can, I'll try and squeeze a little cheeky one in the middle there. Like I say, thanks for hanging out. Leave a like if you can, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all on the next one. Cheers, guys.